Hello, everyone. You're welcome to another SQL session. So, in this session, we would be talking about delete. So, delete is one of the crucial commands in the CRUD operations, right? So, we talked about CRUD being create, read, update, and delete. Okay, so in our previous sessions, we've handled create, we've handled read, updates, and now we would look at delete. So when we say delete, there is not much to talk about delete because delete is delete. It's what we already know. It's used to remove an element or a record from a table. Okay, so now I would just show you how to delete a record from the table. Yes, so I had already connected this. So if you don't know how to activate the environment or connect your database or Jupyter Notebook, you could check the previous sessions. Okay, so I could just start my SQL here. I think I need to zoom this so it is visible enough. Okay, all right. So let me start with this, and I would like to delete, but before deleting, let me see if I could check my records. So we are using employee table for our discussion. Okay, so this is the employee table, right? So the employee table has 8 rows, and these are the content. So let's assume we want to delete, um, let's say we want to delete Michael somebody. Okay, so that is this record here with the employee ID as 11. All right. So now to do this, I would have to start with my magic command, and I would start with the keyword delete. So what am I deleting? Let me write it here. So to delete, we would start with the keyword delete. All right. And then um, what are you deleting from? You are deleting from the table. So you are going to say delete table name. Okay, so it's saying delete from table name. Okay, now, and what are we deleting? Okay, so to do that, we would put a where condition. So we are going to say where, and we could write the column name. I would say column name, and where column name is. So I would put say the condition. All right, then I think that should be okay. All right. So in our case here, I would say I would use this. I want to delete the item or the record that has the employee ID 11. That is Michael somebody Raymond. So I would say I want to delete from employee where column name is employee ID, and the condition is that this employee ID equals 11. Okay, so 11 is the ID of that record. All right, so that's it here, 11, right? The Michael somebody. So I would come here and paste this. So when I do this and I run it, it tells me one row affected. Okay, so this means that this row has been deleted from this table. So to confirm, I will just rerun this. Remember, there are 8 rows here that are affected. That means there are 8 rows on this table. So if I rerun this, you should see 7 rows instead. So that means one row is no longer here. And if you check for that name, Michael somebody, you won't see that. And these are 11. There is no item with an employee ID 11. So that record has been expunged from the table. Okay, so the record no longer exists. So that is the essence of delete. So you could delete a record from the table. Okay, now there is something else we could do with delete. This is SQL, and let's say delete delete from employee. Okay, where okay, so let's remove the where clause. Now there is a challenge here. All right, if I run this code, delete from employee, I'm not going to get an error. Okay, what is going to happen is that the entirety of my table will be deleted. All the records on my table will be deleted. And why would that be? Because I instructed it to do so. What I'm saying is delete all the records from this table. All right, so if I run this, it's going to happen. So I'm emphasizing on this because it could be a mistake. So now let me explain some concepts that we've just talked about. So this delete here is, if I am deleting, I could delete based based on a condition. Okay, I could delete based on the condition. So in that case, I would use this. All right, then I could also delete all elements in the table. Okay, so in that case, I would just say delete from the table. So I would say table name. Okay, so in our case, it is delete from employee. All right. You could also delete multiple records. That's delete based on a particular condition. All right. So let me show you that. Now, I would probably like to delete Blessing and Byron. That is employee ID 1 and employee ID 10. Okay, I could use other columns to check. I could delete based on the last name, I could delete based on the age. But in our case, I would prefer using these because this is like the only column that has very unique um, identification for each record. So I would say here, let me remove this. Now, to do this, I would say delete from, say, employee table, right? And what do I want to delete? I need to put the condition now. I would say where employee ID in, and put my parenthesis, and then I would choose the ID. So I could choose 1 and 10. Okay, so if I run this, it is going to delete the records 1 and 10. Okay, that is Blessing and Byron. Okay, we are going to experiment that. But first of all, let me copy this and put it in the notes so you could see it clearly. All right, so we said we could delete from based on a condition, right? So in this condition, I think I would just put something like, say, delete. um okay, so there are multiple ways of deleting based on the condition. So the second way of deleting is, let me just give it a little subheading. So I could say delete based on based on multiple conditions. All right, so in this case, I could use delete from table name where column name, then it's still condition. But in this case, I would like to express the condition. So I could say where the column name in, okay, then I put the values here. Okay, so the condition here is it still works with this. Both of them are still conditions, all right, based on conditions. So this is more like multiple. This is multiple conditions. Okay, so I could just repeat this line and put here. Then I would just say where column name equals. Okay, so I could use equals. I could use say greater, or greater, or greater down or less than. All right, so all these, and then the values. All right, so this is more like, say, single condition. Okay, there are other ways you could do it. You could say where this is this, and okay, to it's just the same way you do your select query. You could continue with that. Okay, so you could just say where this equals this, and like that. Okay, so there are multiple ways. So just the way you filter your columns during your select command. Okay, that's the way you could also use to apply your delete. Now, there is something we need to understand. Okay, so there is a possibility for you to delete the entire element from your table mistakenly, or probably delete a wrong record. Okay, so now it's how can you delete the right record. Okay, let's just do that. So how can you delete the right record, or how can you be sure that you are deleting the right record? I think that would be a better way to put it. How can you be sure that you are deleting the right record? So in order to be sure that you are deleting the right record, I would advise that you first run the query with a select command. Okay, first of all, run the query with the select command. Then, if the result of the query is what you intend to delete, okay, you can now replace it. You can now replace it with you can now replace the select keyword, right? You can now replace the select keyword with the delete keyword. Okay, so now I want to do something. How can you be sure that you are deleting, or I would use I want to use one stone to kill two birds here. That you are deleting or updating, because this hack could also go for updating. So you go through this process, then you replace the select keyword with the delete or update. Okay, with the delete or update keyword. All right. So let's see this in action. Now, I I want to delete these two records. Okay, 1 and 10. So what I know is I want to remove Blessing from this and Byron from this record. Probably they no longer work with this company, so they are no longer employees of this company. All right. So to delete this record, I could just run this and delete. But how can I be certain that these records are what I actually need to delete, or what I want to delete? Okay, so I would the advice is to start with the select. Okay, so I could say select all from employee where employee ID in this. Okay, so if I run this, I would see it will filter out the records that I I need or I want to delete. Okay, to filter out the records, And looking at the records, I would see that okay, I could realize that the records I am seeing are not aligned, or they are not the exact record I need. Okay, there is a possibility. So imagine if I ran delete and these records kind of appeared, or these records kind of were expunged from the table. I might have deleted a wrong record, and that could affect the database or whatever query I'll probably run, or analysis that could happen later on. Okay, so now what I need to do is to put the select keyword to display the information first of all. Then I'm now sure that this is the information I want to delete. There's a possibility that probably it is maybe I thought that Byron is probably or Blessing is the fifth. This is the employee ID 5, and when I run this, you see that it is not Blessing, it is Grace. So if I did not check this with the select keyword, there is a possibility that I would probably delete that. Then another advantage is that using the select keyword would show you that, oh, are you saying you want to delete two records? There's a possibility that I forgot to put in the where clause, okay, and I probably just did delete from employee. And then when I see this, I realize that, oh, it's the entire table I'm about to delete. Okay, so the select keyword comes to the rescue. Okay, it's more like checkmate this, confirm that this is what you want to delete. Because if I see that this is what I want to delete, and I'm certain that okay, these records are valid, these are the records I would like to delete. So I could just come here and change this to delete, and I will just have to remove the asterisk, and that's okay. Okay, so that does the job. So if I run this, Blessing and Byron will no longer be here. So I will just run this, and it tells me two rows are affected. So if I come here, I won't see this Blessing, I won't see this Byron. So let me rerun this query. You can now see that there are 5 rows affected. So there are just 5 rows now existing on this table. Okay, so you have to be careful when you are using your delete and update. Okay, because the same way the delete works is the same way the update works. So using the select keyword to cross check before running the actual command would be very healthy, most recommended for you. Okay, so that's all we need to discuss about the CRUD operation. So the delete ends the series of the CRUD operations. All right, so we could call it a lesson for now, and we could continue in the subsequent sessions on other discussions on SQL. Thank you very much.